Hello, this is Joe Price, the director of the BYU Record Linking Lab. I recently gave a youth fireside to show the youth some ways they could use their phone to do family history. And so this video is just going to recap those 4 different ways that you can use the phone to find a name to take to the temple. Let's start first by doing some record hints. So if you click the task button at the bottom, you can see some people that you're related to that you might be able to do some work for. But I think the best thing to do is link sources to people. And so if you click one of those blue circles, it'll show you some record hints for that person. And then you can click the green button to review. And now you're going to be looking at the record and the tree side by side. So in this case, you can see they have the same name, same middle initial, same birth date, death date. So this is definitely a record we would want to attach. So we click attach, and we've now attached that record. And we can do the same thing for the birth record. So we click on the birth record and then click the green review button. And now we're going to look at these side by side, and we can see there's the parents, and we have a birth date, and now we know where he was baptized, and we can click those, and so we've just attached the source for that person. And we can always hit the back arrow to go back to the person, and then hit the back arrow again to go back to the sheet. And then we can scroll down and see if there's other people that we want to attach records for. So there's Margaret Shee. Now, this one has a census record. These are fantastic records to attach because they often add new people to the tree. So let's take a look at Margaret. And here we see Margaret that her dad is already attached. That's why it's green. So we're going to attach her to the census record. So we hit attach. Now we notice there's John Sullivan down there, and so we can hit the button that says change, and we're going to change the view. So now we're having Mary as our focus person. And so now we can actually add her husband to the family tree. And so we'll click on John Sullivan. Now it provides a possible match. That match doesn't have a lot of information, so I'm just going to create a new person. Now in that case, before I did the temple work, I'd want to check to see if it was a possible duplicate, but in this case, we'll just put it on the tree, and we've just now added a new person to the tree. This was Mary's husband. And now we can click on Margaret again. This is Mary's sister, and we can see that we have a death record for her, and we'll attach that. Notice that Margaret had the same she had her maiden name when she died, so it's possible that she never married. Okay. Now we can go back to our ancestors with tasks, and now we're going to focus on some of the green temples. These will be temple opportunities that we can click on. So let's just scroll down and see if there's someone. So we click on Edith. Now notice we see that it says view duplicates. So when we're first starting out, we'll just avoid these. So anytime you see view duplicates, just back out and look for another person. And so here we have Francis. We'll click on that. And again, it says view duplicates. So again, we'll avoid this one. Don't worry, don't get frustrated. We'll click on another person. And now for this person, you can see that it doesn't say view duplicates. There's some opportunities to do baptisms, confirmations, and other ordinances. And so then we would hit continue to request those particular ordinances. And then we'd read the policy about who we can do temple work for. We'd click the box and then hit add to reserved family names. Okay, so that's the first way that we can find temple names, is use the task button. The second is use the tree button. And what we're going to do is we're going to navigate up our family tree, and we can be guided by the Spirit to know which of our ancestors have opportunities for us to do. So I'm going to move up here to Hugh Whaley. I click on his profile. I click on the 3 dots in the upper right and hit Descendants with Tasks. And then I'm going to change 3 generations to 5 generations. And I'm going to pull down on the screen and hit the temple button. And then I scroll down, and you can see that there's actually lots of descendants of Hugh Whaley that have temple opportunities. And so I could work on any one of these. I could attach additional record hints. But here I'm just going to click on one of those people. And so William Whaley, his wife Genevieve, was born in 1912, so I can't do her temple work, but I can do the endowment and sealing of parents for William. So I click on the continue button, I click the little box, and then I hit add to temple reserve list. Okay, let's click on another person. So here we have kind of a group of people. So we have Dorothy and her husband Dwayne. They need all of their temple work done. I click the box and we request it. Okay, so that's the second way to find temple names. Okay, the third way, now we're going to click that little button in the bottom right corner that says more. And now we're going to look to see how we're related to some other people. Okay, so I click relatives around me. I click scan for friends. Okay, I have a friend nearby, Jacob. So I'm going to click on Jacob. And here we see how Jacob and I are related. So we are 5th cousins once removed. So that's pretty closely related. Then I'm going to move up my tree to a common ancestors. So here's me, my mom, and grandma. So Elizabeth Beswick is my great-great-great-grandma. She was born in the 1800s, so that'll work just fine. Then I click the three dots in the upper right. I hit descendants with TAS. I change again 3 generations to 5 generations. Then I click the temple button. So here I am going 5 generations, looking down at hers. Then I'm going to click the temple button. Now notice here I only have orange circles, so no green temples ready to go. Orange temples mean that I need to do a little bit more homework, but also notice that all these people were born after 1908, so they wouldn't be people I'd want to do temple work for. So in this case, Elizabeth Beswick wasn't someone that provided some opportunities for me. She's someone I've done a lot of work on. But let me show you what happens when you click one of those orange circles. It says you need more information. In this case, Vern's wife is a question mark. So we need to learn a little bit more about his wife before we could do that sealing. Okay, so that was the third way, is to see how we're related to other people around us. You can do this with a big group. You can see how you're related to a lot of people in the room. Okay, the fourth way is now we're going to click the button for Find a Person. And we can basically pick anyone that we're interested to know if we're related to them. I'm going to check Abraham Lincoln, but you could do Henry Ford or Thomas Edison or Walt Disney. And again, we're not doing temple work for famous people. What we're doing is we're using the famous person to look for one of our ancestors that might have a lot of opportunities for us. And the reason for this is if there's some ancestor of yours that connects you to a famous person, then that's an ancestor that's likely to have a lot of descendants. Okay, so now I need to have a little bit of information about Abraham Lincoln. I know he's male. I can look up on Wikipedia when he was born. He was born 1809 in Kentucky, so I'll type that information in, and that will allow Family Search to see if Abraham Lincoln's on the family tree. Okay, I just hit find. And notice that there is Abraham Lincoln's actually on the tree twice. I'm going to use the second one that says President Abraham Lincoln. And so I'm going to click those 3 dots in the upper right and hit Descendants with TAS. Hit View My Relationship. So now I'm going to see how I'm related to Abraham Lincoln. So you can see my connection. So just remember, hit View My Relationship, and you can see how you're related to Abraham Lincoln. So he's my 6th cousin, 5 times removed. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look on my side of the tree and find one of my ancestors who was born in the 1700s. I'm going to click on their person profile. I'm going to do the 5 generations, and then I'm going to click on temple. And so you can see there I have a couple opportunities of people I can do temple work for. I hit the green temple. Takes me to the page where I can request ordinances. I hit the continue. And then we'll click the box and add it to our temple reserve list. Okay, and then we could do this for some of the other ones as well. And again, with those orange temples, those means there's not enough information yet to do temple work, but you could do a little bit more research and find out more about them. Okay, so just to recap, the 4 ways you can do it is use the task button to look for some task opportunities. You can use the tree. You can use the scan for friends, and you can use the find a person. And I think the biggest thing that I want to share is that you shouldn't be afraid about making mistakes. One of the things we learned is that some people want to know what a button does before it pushes it, and other people push the button to see what it does. And I think that actually in this situation, being more curious and clicking to see what buttons do can be a really powerful tool in this environment.